You know, I consider you to be a private public person. And here you are with a memoir. What motivated you to work on this book?
I was coming up on 50 years in the music business, and I knew, and this is 50 years since I signed my first contract with Elektra Records. I was going to turn 70, which I did a couple of years ago, and I thought, let me get this out, the story of my life, in a way that I'm happy with it. The scene about Janis Joplin, which is riveted in my mind, happened in 1968 in the spring. And she and I were at the Troubadour in California, and we were both pretty drunk, actually, to be quite frank. But I've always remembered what she said. She turned to me during the Paul Williams show, and she said, "You know, one of us is going to make it, and it's not going to be me."
Oh, my goodness.
And I looked at her. I mean, she had no idea that I drank the way she drank, because she showed it in a different way than I did.
Right.
I was right up there with her, but I had a different persona, and, it was different. I didn't know how she knew, but she knew.
Really?
She knew. And she was dead 2 years later.
Now, the album Bohemian, it's sort of a recollection piece as well.
I wrote 5 songs on the album, one called Big Sur, one called Morocco, and one called In the Twilight, which is
Yes.
about my mom.
I'd like to ask you about that song. It's a deeply affecting song. We find out it's your mom, but not right away. How did that song come about?
She'd been for a year and a half in this gorgeous place in Denver. And she was on the memory unit because she'd lost a lot of her memory. But she was very sharp sometimes. But she was sleeping as I left, and the person in the one of the caregivers said to me, your mother's an amazing woman. She's also really a lady. Extraordinary. And I wrote that down, she's a lady. And then I wrote, on getting on the plane to Florida, I wrote down In the Twilight. And In the Twilight is the name of the song, and she was gone in about 2 weeks from then. When I was in Florida, I got the word that she was gone. And so the song tumbled out. I wrote the song about my father about 3 weeks before he died. So I don't know. I think we probably sense these things.
Yes.
And I wanted to give a portrait of her because somebody who lives for 94 years has had an extraordinary life. And I wanted to get the line in about the fact that she voted for Obama
Right.
and argued with her children about politics and drank Presbyterians and had beautiful sisters and brothers who were exotic and handsome, and that she was a remarkable person.